Imagine this. You return home after a long trip, dragging your suitcase into the house you grew up in, ready to hug your father and surprise him. You expect laughter, maybe a few tears, maybe even a feast waiting in the dining room. But instead, the first thing you see is your billionaire father. Yes, the man who once commanded boardrooms, shook hands with presidents, and drove convoys of security men sitting on a short plastic stool in the laundry area. Sleeves rolled up, smiling from ear to ear as he washes a young woman's underwear. Well, that was exactly what Daniel Okoro saw. He had just returned to Lagos from abroad after completing his master's program. He had planned the surprise carefully, not even telling his father he was coming. He thought he would be the one to give his father a shock. But life flipped the script, because there, in the corner of the laundry area of the Okoro mansion, was Chief Desmond Okoro, 65 years old, worth billions, once the pride of his son and the toast of society, scrubbing bright-colored underwear like a houseboy. And not just scrubbing. He was humming happily, like the act itself was a song that gave him joy. Daniel's world tilted. His chest froze. This was not the father who raised him. Once upon a time, in the busy city of Lagos, there lived a man called Chief Desmond Okoro. He was very wealthy, respected, and admired by many. His mansion was always full of life, with maids moving around, the cook humming in the kitchen, and laughter filling the rooms. At the heart of this home was Clara, his beloved wife. She was gentle and caring, the kind of woman who made every guest feel welcome. To her, family meant everything. She was also the mother of Daniel, their only child. Daniel had just gained admission to a university abroad for his master's degree. His parents were so proud. Clara often told him, "Go, my son, make us proud, build your future." But before Daniel could even leave, tragedy struck. Clara fell seriously ill. Doctors tried their best, and Chief Desmond spent millions flying her abroad for treatment. Yet nothing worked. Cancer slowly took her strength, and one quiet evening, she closed her eyes and never woke up. Her death broke the family. The house that once echoed with joy became silent. Chief Desmond was shattered. He stopped eating properly, stopped talking much, and spent his nights sitting alone. Daniel stayed close to him, comforting him through those dark days. But soon, the date for his program arrived. On the morning he was to travel, Daniel hugged his father tightly. "Dad, please be strong. I'll call you every day. I'll come back as soon as I can." Chief Desmond forced a smile. "Go, my son. Don't worry about me. I'll manage." But loneliness is a heavy weight. After Daniel left for his studies, the mansion grew colder. Chief Desmond avoided the master bedroom because Clara's scent still lingered there. He ate little, spoke less, and often wandered the big house at night like a ghost. One Saturday, to clear his mind, he went to the tennis club. That was where he met Angela. She was young, only 27, with a bright smile that seemed to carry warmth. When he stumbled during the game, she rushed forward. "Sir, are you all right?" she asked kindly. That was the beginning. She gave him daily attention phone calls in the morning, prayers at night, words of comfort that made him feel noticed again. For a lonely man, her care felt like a lifeline. She started visiting the mansion. At first, she was helpful cooking, chatting, making him laugh. But soon, her complaints began. The cook doesn't prepare food well. The maid is careless. The driver wastes money. Slowly, one by one, the staff were dismissed. Only Musa the gateman remained. Not long after, Angela moved into the mansion. While Daniel was abroad, he called his father often. He noticed his father speaking less about grief and more about Angela. "She makes me happy," his father said. "She is peace to me." Daniel felt uneasy, but he thought maybe companionship was good. Then, one evening, his phone rang. It was Mama Ruth, the housekeeper who had cared for him since childhood. Her voice shook. "Daniel," she said, "I have been sent away. That woman is taking over everything. Your father is not himself. Please, come back quickly." Daniel booked a flight without telling his father. He wanted to surprise him, but nothing prepared him for what he saw when he arrived. In the laundry area, seated on a small plastic stool, was his billionaire father smiling, humming, scrubbing Angela's underwear in a basin of soapy water. Daniel stood frozen. The man he respected all his life, the man who once commanded boardrooms, had been reduced to this. And from that day, Daniel knew his home was no longer the same. The mansion Daniel had returned to was no longer the same one he had left behind. The rooms were strangely quiet. The walls that once carried his mother's laughter now echoed with Angela's voice. She walked about with the confidence of a queen, giving orders as though she had always belonged there. At breakfast, Daniel found her seated at the head of the table, sipping tea slowly. His father sat beside her, smiling like a schoolboy. Daniel's stomach turned. "Good morning, Daniel," Angela said sweetly. "Did you sleep well?" Daniel forced a nod but said nothing. His eyes moved to his father. "Dad, why are you letting her run this house? Where are the staff? Why is everything so different?" Chief Desmond's face hardened. "Enough, Daniel. Angela is my wife now. She takes care of me. Respect her." Daniel's heart sank. It was as if the father he once knew had disappeared, replaced by a stranger who belonged to Angela. A few days later, the family lawyer, Barrister Nwosu, invited Daniel to his office. His expression was grave. "Daniel," he said quietly, "your father came to see me last week. He brought Angela with him. He said he wants to transfer most of his properties and company shares to her name." Daniel's eyes widened. "What? That can't be true." "It is," the lawyer replied. "I delayed the paperwork. I could not bring myself to sign. But I must warn you, your father is blind to her intentions. If you don't act fast, she will take everything." Daniel clenched his fists. "She won't get away with this." The lawyer leaned closer. "You need proof. Gather evidence about who this woman really is. Without that, the court will not listen." The next day, Daniel met with Mr. Collins, a retired police officer turned private detective. "I don't want rumors," Daniel told him. "I want facts. Who is Angela? Where did she come from? Has she done this before?" Collins nodded. "Give me 1 week." For 7 long days, Daniel lived in tension. He watched Angela smiling in the house, speaking softly to his father, touching his arm with affection. She looked innocent, But Daniel's heart knew better. Finally, Collins returned with a file. Inside were documents, photographs, and marriage certificates. "She has done this before," Collins said firmly. 3 times. Each time, an elderly, wealthy man. Each time, she gained control of his assets. And each time, the man died within a year. The causes were always written off as natural heart failure, stroke, an accident. But the pattern is clear. Daniel's chest tightened. "So my father is next." Collins placed a hand on his shoulder. "Be ready. You will need courage." With the help of Barrister Nwosu, Daniel took the matter to court. He begged the judge to freeze his father's assets until the case could be heard. Angela appeared in court, dressed in white lace, looking pure and pitiful. She shed tears and spoke softly. "I only love my husband. Why should I be punished for loving him?" Chief Desmond stood beside her, his voice firm. "Angela has brought me peace. My son is simply jealous." Daniel's heart broke hearing those words, but he stood tall before the judge. "My lord, if I am wrong, I will live with the shame forever. But if I am right and nothing is done, I will bury my father sooner than I should." Ismendus. The courtroom fell silent. The judge studied the evidence and finally said, "The documents show troubling patterns. I grant an interim order. No assets are to be transferred until this case is concluded." Angela's smile faded for the first time. But Daniel did not rejoice. He knew the battle was far from over. That evening, Daniel's phone rang. It was Mama Ruth, the old nanny who had been sacked. Her voice was urgent. "My son," she said, "this matter is not just ordinary. Your father is not only blind, he's bound. Angela is using charms. If you want him free, you must fight not only with papers, but with prayer." Daniel hesitated. He had always believed in God, but was not deeply spiritual. Still, the desperation in her voice moved him. "What should I do?" he asked. "Come to me tomorrow," she said, "and come fasting." The next morning, Mama Ruth took Daniel to a small church where Pastor Joshua prayed with him. "Your father's mind has been locked," the pastor said, "but God will reveal the secret. Watch closely. What you are looking for is hidden in that house." That evening, as Daniel wandered through the kitchen, his eyes caught a patch of floor tiles near the stove that looked newer than the rest. Something about it felt strange. He called Musa, the gateman. Together they broke the tiles. Beneath the cement, they found a glass bottle sealed with wax. Inside was a tiny figure curled up his father's exact likeness, down to the bald head and spectacle. Daniel trembled. "This is it," he whispered. She trapped him. He rushed upstairs, broke the seal, and opened the bottle. At that moment, Chief Desmond blinked and sat upright, as though waking from a long sleep. His eyes cleared. He looked at Daniel with shock. "Son, when did you return? What is happening?" For the first time in months, he was himself again. Angela returned that night, humming as she carried shopping bags. But when she entered the mansion, she froze. Chief Desmond was standing tall, his eyes sharp and free. "What are you doing in my house?" he thundered. Angela stammered. Darling, it's me, Angela. I love you. Love? Desmond roared. You bewitched me. You made me sack my staff, humiliate myself, and almost destroy my family. You locked my mind in a bottle like a slave. Neighbors gathered as his voice echoed. Musa called the police. Angela tried to kneel, to beg. But Desmond turned away. If this is love, may I never see it again. The police arrived and took her away. This time, her tears did not move anyone. The next morning, the mansion felt alive again. Desmond called the lawyer and cancelled all transfers. He sent for the old staff, who returned joyfully. Mama Eno, the cook, kissed the kitchen counter and said, "Thank God I am back." The house breathed, once more doors opened, laughter returned, meals filled the dining table. One evening, Desmond walked in the garden with his son. "Your mother would be proud of you," he said softly. "When I was weak, you stood strong. You saved me." Daniel held his father's hand. "I only did what she would have wanted." Angela was later sentenced for fraud, her past exposed for all to see. She had deceived many, but now her games were over. In the Okoro mansion, peace slowly returned. Desmond was no longer the same man. He was humbler, more cautious, but he was free. One night, he sat alone in the living room and whispered into the silence, "Clara, I nearly lost everything, but your son saved me." Upstairs, Daniel lay awake, tired but at peace. For the first time since his mother's death, he felt he had truly honored her memory. The mansion, once dark and heavy, breathed again. And this time, it breathed with light. Thank you for watching this story. If it touched your heart, please subscribe and join our growing family of story lovers. Your likes, comments, and shares encourage us to keep bringing you powerful African tales filled with lessons, suspense, and hope. Don't forget to hit the bell so you'll be the first to know when a new story drops.